there. Welcome to Social Coffee Time. I'm Janet E. Johnson, and I am here today to talk about Facebook advertising and all these changes that have been going on thanks to the whole Cambridge Analytica saga is what we call it. And Terry Bean is working on joining me, but for some reason I can't hear him. So we're going to have him join in a minute when we can actually have him join in and hear him. But welcome, you guys. I see a few people are on. Awesome. And let me know in the comments if you have any specific questions about this, but we will be covering things and then you guys can ask some questions. Hope you have your coffee, or if you're not a coffee drinker, there's my cup. And this is actually my second. I was up super early today thanks to a cat. But if you guys can grab a coffee, take a few minutes to take some time and listen to this, just because I'm going to pull in some other experts' sources that I've read. I've been studying this just since last night because it's very, very important at this point. So I'm going to jump Terry in and see if we can hear him. Hold on.
The big countdown. Can you hear me?
I got you. Yep. Right. Yep. Now I can hear you. Okay. So something happened on that end, but welcome, Terry. So some of you guys may know Terry Bean. He's a high school buddy and a podcast partner. So yeah, so he's joining us on this different show, but this actually is on our podcast too, Business Growth Time. It always is released there also. So welcome, Terry, to this part of the world.
Thanks for getting me moving a half hour earlier, Janet. You can see I spent a lot of time getting ready for you. I put on my Peace T-shirt, so we're all good there. Hey, it sounds like they broke Facebook. Is that?
Stop it! They did not break Facebook. We're going to go through it.
Broke it. It's over. Oh my God! Panic in the streets.
It's not over. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great. Yeah. It's not over. It's here's the deal. Bottom line, in my opinion, is you're going to have to get really creative. And there's a lot of avenues to be very creative with Facebook marketing and Facebook advertising. Even just doing this live show has proven that being creative and taking a different turn on things by doing a live show. Remember what I told you, thousands of views organically on my page this month just by doing a live show. So there's things that maybe people have to get more creative and go outside the box a little bit than just going, okay, we're going to be doing Facebook ads only, and that's it. And we're just going to depend on their data. So that's my opinion in the beginning. But let's talk about the changes that have been made, and then we're going to dig into the biggest one that happened last night.
So before you say that, but Facebook's got a certain set of behaviors that they really want to reward you for taking. And the key is you have to know what those behaviors are, because they punish you if you don't do what they want you to do. Is that fair to say?
Kind of. Okay. I guess you could put it that in those words. You're kind of negative about things lately.
I'm angry. I'm a bitter guy. What can I tell you? Everybody knows that. I'm Captain Negative. That's my role.
That's great.
Okay. They reward you for taking behaviors. Is that better? Do you like that side?
Exactly.
That sound more like me?
My love of Facebook is going to make this have a positive spin on it. Okay.
Facebook. People aren't deleting Facebook still, most people.
Yeah, most people, unless you have a big name in the industry, in the world, then you can maybe get away with it. But yeah, otherwise, no. So, okay. So let's talk about these changes. Let's talk about the couple of them that happened recently. I'm not even going to talk about everything, but there's three main ones. So the first one is the custom audiences. They're not showing you the targeting numbers anymore. So traffic to a website, that you can track that. And if you have, let's say, 10,000 people that went to your website and you create an audience of people that went to your website, that's called a custom audience. And you won't be knowing if that number is 10,000, 1,000, doesn't matter. They're not telling us. So that's something that they say is temporary. But we're not getting those numbers actually at this point. So we don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting game. So custom audiences, the targeting numbers are going to not be given at this point. The second big one that was big was messenger bots. So the messenger, ManyChat, Chat Fuel, those ones are now gone. Basically what that means is not gone, but you can't connect your page if you have to do a new page. They're allowing the old people that in the past, I have one connected to mine. But if you haven't done it previously, they're not letting you right now. And the question is when? Well, we have on Facebook time. We don't know. No idea. No idea when you can when new pages can connect. So I'm not sure what their plan is there. I mean, they might bring it within and not let those third parties do. I don't know. That's kind of potential prediction, but it's hard to say. Some people don't even right now that are listening might not even know what messenger bots are, but it really is. Well, it's a new form of marketing. You can build subscribers in your messenger. So it's kind of like building an email list, but 10 times more powerful because it's like text marketing. It's right inside the messenger. So let's say I was going to do a webinar coming up, let's just say, and I decided to have people subscribe to the webinar through Messenger. 90% open that. 90% open that when, yeah, so they have a huge open rate compared to, email marketing. What's do you know the number on the average open rate on email marketing?
I'm kicking that average number's butt because I'm at like 24%. The average is like 22. Yeah, it's not 90.
We're happy if it's 20. Yeah, yep. So you're above. So yeah, having an open rate of 90%. Now, granted, messenger marketing, you got to be careful with it, but bottom line, it's a great form of marketing. It's the new way. It's the hip way of marketing, and still email marketing is great, but bottom line is, hey, if you've set yours up, you're good to go. But if you haven't, then you just got to wait till Facebook Land tells you.
Wow.
Interesting, huh? So they're just trying to cover themselves with this, the newest, latest things out there.
If you were doing it, you're not going to miss it, right? It's not the end of the world for you. You didn't know about it yesterday, so let's not worry about it tomorrow. It's good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a minute part of the population that's actually using that in their marketing efforts at this point. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
So if anybody has a question about messenger marketing or any of that, let us know in the comments. Okay, this is the biggie that we all went last night to. And they are now removing partner categories, okay? And many of you right now are watching this, and Terry, you probably included, going, what are partner categories? What in the world is that? Okay, so we're going to explain. But I want to take and explain using my favorites. I'm going to talk about what John Loomer said and what Dennis Yu said, because they're the brainiacs in this marketplace. So I'm just going to remove myself a little bit, and then I'll kind of give my opinion afterwards. But let me go through and pull what I pulled from, and I'll actually give you these articles too, because John Loomer did a whole write-up last night. He must have been awake late. So let's just talk about Facebook announced they will be shutting down partner categories, a way for advertisers to target users based on information provided by third party. It will happen during the next 6 months. So it's going to phase out. These partners have information on people based on their activities away from Facebook. Now, so it's not within a Facebook, it's away from Facebook, that can be used anonymously, of course, in ad targeting. An example is a car dealership wants to reach people in the market for a car. Partner categories can help an advertiser reach those who are not only in the market for a car, but those who currently own a particular model. Examples of partner categories targeting include the following: automotive shoppers, company size, charitable donations, credit union member, corporate executives, retail purchase behavior. Like you can tell when people have actually purchased anywhere online recently, you can target those, like people likely to move. I've used that one a lot with mortgages, business travelers. There's a whole bunch. Recently married. There's just a whole bunch of those. And you perform a certain action away from Facebook, These data mining companies collect this information, then they pass it on to Facebook. And I'm going to keep going because this is very important, and then Terry chime in after. It's a targeting capability that is difficult to describe to non-advertisers. It's easy to see this stuff as being creepy, if not an invasion of privacy. See this as Facebook getting ahead of a potential problem. Partner categories are not new. The reality is they're rather archaic in marketing age. And if you ask 10 advertisers, this is really important too, what kind of success they've seen with them, I bet most will give you less than glowing reports. This is from John Loomer. It's a targeting option that always sounded potentially amazing, but the results rarely matched up. Most advertisers didn't rely heavily on partner categories, but there are exceptions. Check for interests and other Facebook categories that are similar or related to the partner categories that you were using. Worst case, this creates a challenge for, like I was saying, get creative for advertisers to experiment more, rely less on what you've always done and try something different. Now, I want to also talk about Dennis Yu, but I'm going to come back and just talk on that point. Bottom line is the average advertiser won't even know a difference. The average advertiser, person doing the advertiser, won't even realize this has happened. It's something that I haven't. Axiom is a third party. It's called Axiom. Connie, who works for me, she always is using Axiom to go set up, like you ask them to pull third party data and to set it up. So they're going to be cutting out Axiom and Experian, I believe, was the other one. And there's a few third party. It's going to hurt their businesses because they make millions of dollars from this too. So it's kind of a crazy world. But does this make sense to you, Terry, now after reading that, kind of what it is?
So let me see if I understand it. If I heard you correctly, that retargeting piece, where all of a sudden we do something and look up Google, and I'm looking for a softball bat, and then I come on Facebook and I see ads for softball bats every other post. It seems like they're beating me over the head of what I was looking for, and I'm like, how do they know? Is that really what we're talking about?
Nope.
Not at all. You're like, no, that is not it.
No, so that's really good that you bring that up. It's really not going to affect necessarily the retargeting because, a lot of the retargeting pieces, you could still put the pixel on a website, and that's where you get the data to retarget. So that's not being removed. That's
not impacted. And then a lot of advertisers are using that. And you've been talking about the importance of putting a pixel on your site for at least 2 years, right? You've done videos on how to do it and everything.
Yeah,
so if you
exactly.
don't have a pixel, you better get your pixel, and Janet can help you.
I agree. The pixel is super important for, there's pixels on Pinterest too. There's pixels on Google, obviously, with Google Analytics. So there's pixels everywhere. But so the bottom line is, that's not in video viewers and Instagram engagers and all those retargeting pieces, those are still going to stay in place. Okay. But what's going to happen is Facebook's going to bring it in more to their own data. And so it's going to be less effective, possibly. It could be because there's so much data. I think part of the thing, personal opinion, is we get very spoiled with what's been handed us by Facebook, and we're so used to these things. So some people are saying this is the death of, Facebook advertising. I mean, a few. And Dennis Yu, I do want to bring up his points too. He mentioned that there are other platforms, and I don't know who they are. Maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's Pinterest. I don't know. Maybe it's LinkedIn. I'm not sure, that still can use the third-party data. And then some people are saying, well, why can't we just go pay Axiom, pay them, and then upload a special list to Facebook? So still could be ways around it. I don't know. So it's a very interesting how it's all going to pan out in the next 6 months. Honestly, things will happen, I think, that will make people more creative, and us crazy marketers will figure out ways around it, because I still see Facebook, nothing beats it still, even if they remove that piece of things. because the retargeting aspects and all those different things. But let's go back to, I just want to read, and then we're going to talk about what Dennis's take is on it. So Dennis Yu is with Blitz Metrics. I'm just taking a piece out of what he posted on Facebook, but he said, at the same time, Facebook's algorithms are getting stronger. The same algorithms that predict what you're most likely to engage with in the newsfeed are still sub-targeting and auto-bidding in your ad campaigns, meaning that you don't have to target as granularly. You cast a wide lookalike net and the system does all the work for you. And I'll expand on that in a minute. You just have to pump in your data via the Facebook pixel, connected email accounts, offline store data, and other parts of your digital plumbing. He calls it plumbing. You might not understand why you need to configure your plumbing just so, but you see the results from others in your industry and in your campaigns. So you do it largely in blind trust. So Facebook then, and he put this in all caps, has the system to make the adjustments under the hood, meaning within Facebook, if that makes sense. So lookalike audiences are pretty cool. So you can take, let's say you had 10,000 people go to your website. Now you can create a lookalike audience, meaning an audience that's very similar to those 10,000 people. And these lookalike audiences, people have, I've seen it and other people have seen it, that lookalike audiences, you can get incredible, amazing results. They really do match very closely. And those are still all going to be available to us, but they're using more the in-house plumbing than the third party is where it's going to move to.
And ultimately, I mean, that's what they have to do, right? They have to control their data and they have to show that they're making a concerted effort to do that. So by cutting all the extraneous companies they're feeding in, they're saying, listen, we hear you. We're not deaf. We're paying attention. We're going to do a better job of managing your experience because we're going to be the only ones that are dealing with your experience. Whether or not they're doing it in a nefarious way or not remains to be seen, because it's really easy to say, yeah, it was them that was screwing everything up, not us. But
good point. Good point. I know. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Listen, man, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can spin some really good conspiracies.
Stay positive.
No, I'm excited. It's, you know what? And you nailed it. The reality is, you said most advertisers, right? Most advertisers won't even be affected by the change. So you think about the average person like myself, who spends some time messing around with Facebook marketing and managing my own Facebook stuff. And in a lot of the listeners that we have and that you have, you know, that are doing this on their own, dude, it's business as usual. You're gonna do the same thing tomorrow that you did. It's right. I mean, ultimately, isn't that kind of what this nets out to be?
Exactly. It's people that really are spending thousands upon thousands of dollars, you know, into the millions. You know, it's going to be, and they really narrow in on their targeting and they test all sorts of things. I mean, and I've done this with many clients, but we can still target interest. There's still going to be interest. There's still going to be behaviors. It's just that we'll see what the effect is on how much data we lose with the third party. We don't know yet. And then, you know what, my guess is something's going to come about in the future. Things change all the time, every day. So who knows what new things are going to come. I mean, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and it has worked, and I've documented that it worked with video view retargeting. I mean, you get people to watch a video, you build that like and trust, and then you put an ad in front of them again to maybe convert them to a sale or convert them to get on your email list. I mean, that just launched. I mean, it's been a couple of years now, but bottom line, when that launched, we were like, oh, you know, now it's Instagram engagement. Instagram engagement is another thing that I was always like, oh, Instagram is such a brand awareness place. But now you can actually create a custom audience for the people that engaged on your Instagram account. So, I mean, there's just so many new things happening all the time. I don't want to look at it as, and remember when Facebook Terry, you'll remember this. Remember when they changed their news feed completely to be more like Twitter way back when?
Heck
Way
yeah.
back when. You probably even know the year. I don't know. I don't remember.
Absolutely. It was 2000. It was either late '08 or early '09. And LinkedIn basically did the same thing shortly thereafter.
Yes. Exactly. And people were in an uproar.
Hey, listen, Facebook is going to start charging $3 a month. And at that time, I'm done. I'm out.
$3. Well, that's all they need to do to overcome this whole thing. I've been watching the stock closely, though, because we have some. So,
is it bouncing at all? Did it
actually went up overnight, which is a shock.
Did it really?
Yeah, but it's dipped already. So yeah.
Well, to some point, right? Again, if we're looking at the micro level and how, oh my God, panic in the street. So that's why I was like, it's over, sell it all, it's done, forget it, delete your account. If you look at the macro play, it's actually trying to make a better, more cohesive, and again, more controlled experience. Yeah, when they have that many cooks in the kitchen, you really don't know what's going on there. Mm-hmm. And now they should have some level of control, right? Or at least some greater level of control. And from that standpoint, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little more control. So you got to look at the positive spin on it.
Absolutely.
I started echoing for some reason in your. Am I coming through your headphones?
No, but you haven't changed at all. So yeah, I was satisfied to get the mic working. Don't stress me out about that.
This happened to me before, and then it disappeared. So it already did. All right, so let's talk about expanding. So Facebook ads is amazing. Still, I can't picture anything being less.
More bang for your buck.
Money-wise and targeting-wise and just doing the retargeting and all that. Facebook ads are still the best by far. And I think my opinion is they'll figure it out to fix it and keep it that way. Now, that being said, let's talk about diversifying. The big thing that and granted, this is one of the reasons that I didn't want to ever make my business just be Facebook ads only. Now, obviously we hone in on, I do a lot with Facebook ads, but it's something that you don't want to build your brand on one piece of land. That is my statement for now. I've been putting that out there. It's just do not build your brand on one piece of land, meaning you still need to focus on having a website, building an email list. Don't just count on Messenger, because look at what would it, if you thought, oh, I'm just going to move to Messenger, not build an email list, then you couldn't do it at the moment. Hopefully you can. So you want to do everything, and also think about everything to get the emails, to get the traffic to your website. You need the social media sites and Google, obviously, and YouTube. YouTube right now, my next favorite is YouTube advertising.
Is it?
That's number 2. Yep. And then I'm dabbled in Pinterest. It's very expensive, but they allow you to upload email lists and do some really cool targeting too. So it's something people should look into too.
Do you separate Facebook and Instagram? Because obviously Instagram is owned by Facebook.
I put them in one.
So when you say YouTube's number 2, technically it's actually number 3 because Instagram is crammed into Facebook, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. Hey, we gotta help these people, man. Come on.
Exactly. And if people have questions, feel free to ask in the comments below, because I definitely want to, give you my feedback. Might be different than what Dennis you would say. I mean, or anybody else would say, but these are just our feedback of what we see, things that you maybe want to dabble in and do. The other is Twitter, and I have not tried a Twitter ad. But Dennis Yu swears by them. So it's something that's interesting, because I have never done a Twitter ad. I don't know. Terry, you haven't done a Twitter ad either, have you?
I have not. I have not even promoted a tweet at this point. And I think you know this. I was like Twitter, Schmitter. I was off of Twitter for a good 5 years because I was on it so early, and I'm like, okay, it's too much. I have overload. And just in the last 4 months or so, I've been trying to get into the habit of using it again. You know, because I've heard this. I don't know if it's true or not, but you don't want to build your brand on one piece of land.
Oh, that's good.
I love it. Twitter ads are expensive, says Craig Backus. I think you're probably 100% right, Craig. You've been using them? Is that you? I guess it's really hard to nod. Sponsoring a hashtag is $250 for a day. Okay, well, it's like I could make up a hashtag. I can't imagine that that's going to be $250,000, right? I suppose it depends on what the hashtag is. I hope. Right?
And Dennis Yu, go check out Dennis Yu, because he talks about Twitter ads somewhat, and I don't think he's doing it in a certain way, really narrowing in on a specific audience, and I don't think it's those kind of numbers. So that's interesting to hear, but maybe there's a way around it. So definitely follow him and look at that.
Yeah. Hashtag Super Bowl 50K. Right. No, well, sure, man. Did you ever try and place an ad in the Super Bowl? It's not cheap. By the way, Craig, I love that you're embracing the whole Texas thing. Craig moved to Texas a few years back, and now his little icon's got a little cowboy hat and everything. He's all in, man. I love it.
Oh, that's good. Well, so Twitter ads, I think it's one of those things to experiment with, just like LinkedIn. We haven't brought that up yet. So LinkedIn, if you're B2B, business to business, you want to consider the LinkedIn, maybe trying ads, maybe. But once again, we just had, what episode was that? Do you know where we had? Probably
101 or 102, right?
I can look it up.
Frank. It's 102. Episode 102 is all about LinkedIn advertising. I'm 97% sure about it.
Yep. Okay. So that was an excellent review of Facebook advertising, LinkedIn advertising, specifically the pay-per-click advertising. And I think in the cost, obviously, spendy is what we're talking about. But I think they are improving. And Dennis, you brought this up the other day, because they have the ones that are in the feed now, the LinkedIn ads inside the feed. Yeah. They're a little more cost effective, but he did a side-by-side test he just posted about, and you could look on maybe Blitzmetrics or DennisU.com, and he did a test with LinkedIn ads, and he still came out with that they were very expensive. But
they're still expensive, and they probably are. You know what was interesting to me, because I've actually done some LinkedIn advertising, is the targeting is really good there, right? It's not Facebook good, but it's really good. And the difference between Facebook advertising and LinkedIn advertising, one of the first things that everybody puts in LinkedIn is their title, right? And we have lots of people on Facebook that barely even put their company in, right? So LinkedIn, you know their title, you know their industry, you know their business. So you can get fairly granular there. Again, as you mentioned, B2B play. But it's a little bit different, and you use the word test, and you have to test and test and test and test. Hi, Sherry, because it's so very, very important. Because if you don't, you're never going to know it works. And the first time you set something up, it doesn't work ever. Don't give up.
Well, and that's what I've heard about. Well, look at even just Facebook advertising. How many people I've talked to that. I talked to a business and they're like, we tried the Facebook ads once. It didn't work. I'm like,
right.
How much testing did you do? I mean, you know what I mean? Did you do any retargeting? What's that? You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things. All of the platforms, it could be expensive to some, but it might not be expensive to others. We've gotten extremely spoiled with Facebook ads. Extremely spoiled with the cost effectiveness of it. I mean, paying a penny or less for a video view. I mean, we're like, oh, well, now ads should be pennies. You know what I mean? And we're not used to, but Google world. So a lot of people left the Google world because you're paying $12, $20, $50 per click, depending on your industry. But you know what? Some people still pay it and some people still get the results, and it's worth it.
Just a disclaimer, your ads on Facebook may not cost a penny for a video view. Remember that whole testing thing? She's been through this a whole mess of times. This is why you don't go out and get a scalpel when you need surgery. You go to the surgeon, right? You hire the expert to do the stuff.
Yeah.
Just, your mileage may vary.
Well, and the prices are going up. They haven't been as much. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But the bottom line is Facebook will raise their prices at some point. Hopefully not in the near future, especially with these changes. But so it's kind of spoiled us with the ads. So LinkedIn, maybe you should test it. I actually just got a $50 credit from LinkedIn to spend on ads. I'm like, well, why not spend their $50 that they're giving me, see how it works. So let's go into LinkedIn because I want to talk about Terry has a product coming out soon that is specific to LinkedIn. Now, my opinion is if you are a business to business, your best two platforms would be Facebook and LinkedIn. They just make sense because you can target people in the advertising by title. They kind of removed that too at one point. So it's not but there's ways around it. But the bottom line is it still works really great for B2B. Tons of people are doing B2B on Facebook. LinkedIn is a given. I mean, it's just a given. And they've been improving. One thing I will say is they have been improving a lot on their social. I just saw somebody talk about it, and I'm still bad about getting in there, but you probably could feed on this. That they were saying that it's become more of a place that people go day to day to get their social feed, like to feed themselves. We used to just go, LinkedIn, we're never going to go there, but now that they've changed the feed kind of similar to the Facebook world, it's more embraced socially.
I've been teaching people how to use LinkedIn since 2005, right? I taught my first class. And over the last 6 years, I do this. You know how you spend time on Facebook going like this, or maybe you're using your thumb, but you're doing this move? Spend 15 to 20% of the time you do that on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And there's a couple of reasons for it. One, you're going to find some really specific stuff to your industry that's going to make you a little bit smarter, right? It's going to sharpen that saw a little bit for you. And two, it's mostly business stuff. It's not random cat videos or walking out on a pool that has no floor and you're looking 45 stories down. Facebook, literally, for most of us, is still the place like a 8 p.m. sitcom. You want to sit on the couch, you want to take your brain out, you want to kick it across the floor, and you want to just veg out a little bit. LinkedIn is almost the opposite. Now, they're mixing it up a little bit, right? Because now LinkedIn's putting weight on views and shares and likes and comments. And so now people are like, well, if it works on Facebook, it'll work on LinkedIn. And they're right. So that's one way to grow that audience. But as long as you're doing that aligns with your brand and who you're trying to attract, I think it's okay. But it's got to be that right mix, right?
So like motivational quotes and stuff like that is now interesting. I do those on Instagram and Facebook, so maybe I just throw it on LinkedIn too while I'm at it.
Absolutely. And some of your marketing tips and your social tips would be a perfect fit. And you've already built the right content for it, right?
I've got it.
But you can, they're mixing humor in at this point. They're mixing levity in at this point. And again, I think
in video.
In video, you can't go live yet, but you can now record natively from LinkedIn and click send. It's recorded inside of LinkedIn and ready to go at this point. And so back to the same thing, right? We've talked about this for years. If you record a video, upload it to YouTube, don't copy that link from YouTube and share it on Facebook. Go upload the video to Facebook. They're going to have the exact same thing happen on LinkedIn too.
Okay, interesting. So now we're going to have just more work. That's why our VA comes in handy.
That's right.
Because this whole download, upload. I mean, but it's worth it, especially if it's content that you're really giving the value, and especially if you're business to business. I mean, like you said, got to be on LinkedIn and start doing the things that that it takes to make it work. And now it sounds like it's changing a ton from what you just told me. So let's finish with, I want to hear about your LinkedIn, because way important to diversify, way important. And Terry is launching a new program specific to LinkedIn. I mean, what you just said to me, I'm like, wow, I need to start doing a little more. I mean, just that alone was a huge tip for me, because I already got the content, but I just forget about LinkedIn. That's my problem.
You got the content. And so I don't ever want to get in anybody's business about how much time they spend on Facebook, right? But estimates say the average person's spending over 2 hours a day, right?
Mine's about 6.
That's a lot of time. Yeah, but some of it you're
working,
legitimately working.
Yeah. 2 hours for the average person. Yeah, that's a lot of wasted time.
It's a lot of wasted time, but think about it. You get in here and you're going like, I'm going to just scroll until I see something good. That could be like 10 minutes because you're reading all the
usually you end up seeing the same thing over and over too.
Yeah,
when you're scrolling through. That's what drives me crazy.
Like, oh, didn't I see this yesterday and the day before? Exactly. Why is it still showing up? Can I X out of stuff? But because of that, I decided, listen, I got to get people to shift their attention a little bit, right? Not a lot, just a little bit. I want 15 minutes of your day to be dedicated to LinkedIn. And so what I created was a 30-day course where you're going to spend 15 minutes a day learning a new trick, changing something on your profile, or learning how to search, or learning how to find a group, or learning how to create a status update, all the things that are relevant to your LinkedIn experience, where every day you're going to go there, you're going to do this one thing, and then you're going to be done with LinkedIn for the day if you so choose. But by the end of that 30 days, you'll have been in the habit of going to LinkedIn every day for 15 minutes.
And it takes like 21 days to build a habit or something like that.
It depends on the habit, right? But yeah, the average, they say, is anywhere from 21 to 28 days. So if I got you for 30, boom, you're going to be in there. And so it's got a nice little learning curve to it. It's got building out your profile so you can be found, right? Listen, the 2 reasons that you want to be on LinkedIn, number 1, you want to be able to find the people you're looking for. If Facebook understood search the way LinkedIn understands search, LinkedIn wouldn't exist. It would be over, right? It would be over. They would have beaten them out. They would have been done. LinkedIn would have died because LinkedIn search is so strong. And again, you're getting so much content. You're getting those titles. You're getting all of those real specific things. It works. So being able to find what you're looking for. The other flip side of it is being found by the people that need to find you or that you want to find you. And that's all about your profile. And so often people say, oh man, that's a lot of work. I'm gonna get to this later. Well, there's no flipping later in your calendar. You have never once gotten to anything later.
Leads are important. They're the crutch of a business, you know. And if you're B2B, you need to LinkedIn and the bio. I've gotten actually most of my big clients have come, and I don't even work that hard on LinkedIn, but they've come through LinkedIn because of how my profile's set up.
And they find you.
They found me.
Mm-hmm. And so equally important, even if they found you somewhere else, they validate you there, right?
Yes. Yep.
Right? They're going there to check you out. And I don't care if it's a job search we're talking about or a potential sales call that you're about to go on. People are checking you out on the regular there. And so you got to be up to snuff. This program gets you there.
You're stressing me out. I gotta go check out what my LinkedIn looks like.
I put there's a little team chat here in the lower left hand side. Orange circle, little righty thing in there.
Nobody can see that. Nobody can see that.
Nobody can see the team chat.
You got to put that in. So put it in the. Actually, I will grab it and I will put it in the comments below on Facebook. So I will make sure that it is in the comments.
Okay,
so you guys can check out what that is, and then if they're interested, how do they sign up?
They just call me or email me. I want to talk to people because I want to make sure people are committed to it. Listen, I've done enough counseling and coaching and consulting. It's a weird thing taking people's money in exchange for knowledge, and especially if you know that they're not going to do it, it sucks, right? You feel like a total jerk. Like, yeah, you just paid me a bunch of cash, and I don't want to deal with folks that aren't really committed. So I want to kind of screen them. I know you do the same thing, right? You have an application program process to go into your VIP program,
Yes.
right? You're not just taking anybody. I don't know your rationale for it. It may be very similar, but it is. It's kind of funky if you don't. I want committed people. They have to do the work, and it's actual work. Sorry, no easy buttons. I want easy buttons. Dang it.
And nothing is anymore. I just did a presentation last night, which brought people to Facebook and Messenger. So it was kind of funny. I had to but bottom line is it's still about relationships. That's how the whole thing started. Every type of social media possible is through building of relationships. And you need to, no matter what. And you're a big networker. So, any type of marketing, not just social media, but we tend to want that fast button. Like, I'll just throw up a Facebook ad and boom, I'm going to get clients and I don't need to do anything else. That can work. I'm not saying it can't, but it's less likely to work. And it depends on your business too. Like, we're doing it for an HVAC client. They don't do anything besides that. And that works for that type of business at times. But the bottom line is, it's much better to build the relationships, and you're going to have a stronger client in the end too, once you land that client or whatever you're looking for.
Absolutely. Listen, if you go to MotorCityConnect.com, one of the first
Thanks, Dan.
What's that?
I said, thanks, Dan. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Listening intently to us.
Hi, Dan. I was going to say, if you go to MotorCityConnect.com, one of the first things you're going to see is all business is relationship business. All right, these social media tools really are an extension of your ability to build a relationship and to start a conversation. And that's why a lot of the groups like on LinkedIn don't work anymore, and a lot of groups on Facebook, right? Because now everybody's got a checklist to go and post this thing that promotes their stuff in X number of groups, and it's like a drive-by. Boom, 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 boom. And then they take off, and people are responding, and you never come back and reply.
That's great.
Initiate the conversation.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah. I think that's what ruined the LinkedIn groups. Now, Facebook groups are still doing well. You just got to follow those guidelines. I don't ever do that in groups, ever. It's just not my own group. Sure, that's a place for you to put your content, but you still want to do it by building relationships. So awesome. Okay, well, this was longer than my normal, but I think it was good. I liked having you on so that I wasn't talking over people's heads. So you kind of brought me down. You know what I mean?
I'm always here to dumb it down, Janet.
Exactly.
Thanks.
For the Facebook side of things. Granted, it's not something you work with on a daily basis. Like I work with it constantly on a daily basis. So it's just, and I know that most of the audience doesn't, partner categories was probably foreign language to a lot of people.
Partner category. You know what? I thought it was like relationship status for a minute. I was like, well, this is my lover. This is no, it's not.
Exactly. So I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you guys who watched, and I'm sure a lot of you will watch it in the replay. Definitely a lot of pieces of content here that are very important, and I think everybody should know and follow and start diversifying yourself. Make sure that you're not focusing on one piece of land.
That's right.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me.